I started seeing this line of falling dominoes in my head. You know, the kinds of dominoes where if you stand them straight up on their ends in a line, no matter how long or complex the line, if you place them all in alignment and tip the top one over just right, you can get this really magical result. Well, what my students did that night was I started thinking as I was driving home about this line of falling dominoes, and between Dick's voice and this domino line in my head, what I realized my students had done is they had taken this line, they had named the back domino. All of the groups had pretty much agreed that the last thing to fall over should be financial performance. They said it was profit. They called it profit or shareholder return. And since this was a publicly traded company, I agreed with them. They named the front domino the purpose of the business. They said that's the thing that they're going to put at the front and tip everything over in the middle. In the middle, I started seeing all of the daily actions and decisions that happen in every organization every day, happening now as we sit in here, as the middle dominoes, the things that have to line up. And I'm guessing that we would probably all agree, as I'm watching heads nod, that we'd probably all agree here that profit is probably the back domino in most organizations as an outcome. Even if you're in a mission-driven or social sector organization, that opportunity to get a sustainable resource base so that you can do more mission is absolutely the outcome that you seek. So that's simple. We could probably all agree to that. My guess is that we'd also all agree that you have to line up all your daily actions and decisions against the purpose of a business in order to get that financial outcome. So maybe that's pretty simple. But here's the thing. I think we argue over the front domino all the time. Simple, not easy. What Dick's voice was ringing in my head was telling me that it's really easy to miss this link between your customer experience and financial performance. It's really easy to miss it. So, for example, I meet some leaders who will say things like, Linda, of course we're customer focused, with what I call the accompanying duh expression. Absolutely, of course we're customer focused. But have you ever noticed that these are the same leaders who complain that their customers have commoditized them? Or in some way, shape, or form, no longer value what they have to offer? So somehow they've missed the link. Maybe they used to have it and they've lost it. Think GM, who over time got to the point where they tried to be everything to everybody, lost focus on what problem they solved for which target customer, and as a consequence experienced eroding financial performance over time. Now it's, as taxpayers, our eroding financial performance over time. Or here's another one. Sometimes I hear us mix up our purpose with our outcome. So those leaders who scream, and maybe you've heard this in the last 24 hours, we're going to manage every decision to maximize profitability. We will make every decision in this organization to maximize profitability. I see you laughing. Or market share. I admit it, I've been this person, right? So you know who you are. You know who we've done this, right? So we do this all the time. It's that pendulum swing where 3 weeks for the end or from some quarter, some line in the off. Well, that's okay as a short-term tactic. But what we're really talking about here is what's driving the purpose of your business to drive performance. And short-term tactics, if you think about them as thrusters on a rocket ship, if you lay on one thruster constantly without ever laying off, what happens? Right? It's a little scary. So the idea of thinking about driving, using your outcome as your front domino is a little scary. Think about the investment bankers who followed the subprime mortgage lending trail to oblivion, right? Pursuing the financial outcome as the purpose of the business is a pretty scary thing. And this isn't a shareholders versus customers conflict. It's about missing the link between solving a problem well for a target customer in order to get the financial outcome. They don't necessarily have to be a trade-off. Make sense? So simple but not easy. You know, fundamentally what happened that night is they changed my thinking about customer experience. I knew it was really important before I got there. You know, as Chris mentioned, we started Avius on some common values, and one of them was this belief that if you could align your operating decisions on a customer, you could be more successful. And we'd had a lot of experience with clients that shared it. But that night, I really got an understanding for why. They named the front domino. They called it solving a problem well for a target customer, and they successfully linked it to the back domino that every business wants. The fundamental lesson for me was that you could use customer experience as an operating strategy to tip everything in a business towards better financial performance. You can do that too. So for those of us who are kind of winding through I'm not sure if my customer experience is successful, I'm not sure if it's making us enough money, if we line up our dominoes correctly, we can use customer experience as an operating strategy to tip everything towards a better financial outcome. Buy that? Good, good. Okay, so here's my question for you. What's your front domino?